as we are loading into the grand finals of ESL Open Cup Asia number 100 and should fix that, number 198. Again, I apologize for some of the confusion that was going on. I apologize for the forfeit that did occur as well. It does happen when you have so much just being scheduled all at once. And we will be casting the Cursory Cup or the Korea versus the World event after this concludes, after the finals. It does mean that we will be missing some matches, but we'll get there eventually. We will get there eventually. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent, oh my god, going for a gas first. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. It is SHIN. I need to fix that. Goddamn. Here we go. ByuN, of course, going to be going for his patented double Rax opener. No, never mind. This could just be a Rax expand into a factory on the low ground instead. ByuN has been mixing it up recently, but again, Ragnarok did go for a much more aggressive opener. Bear that in mind. SHIN did go for a gas pull into hatch, which means he can go into a roach rush or even a bane bust. This should be for roaches, but we could even go for a faster link speed. We'll see what kind of direction Ragnarok wants to take us in with this faster gas. With this much faster gas, guys. Behind this, ByuN is going for a Rax expand. Oh, he is going to be skipping his Reaper, so he's going to have very limited scanning information. He's going for a Marine first, looking to hunt down some Overlords. Behind this, we have link speed. We are not pulling. We're not pulling out. Not pulling out of gas. This could be for a Bailey Nest or Roaches. Based on how long this is taking, I'm feeling a Bailey Nest, but here we go. It is going to be the Roach Warren instead. Roaches are on the way. Likewise, ByuN hunting down said Overlords. He does have that Marine. He's going to be picking up his Rax, hunting this down with those two Marines. So this is going to supply block Dark. Oh, sorry, god damn it. It's going to supply block. Oh, he's dancing! He's dancing, Poppy! Shit, he's having fun. We'll be losing the Overlord, and meanwhile, back at home, we have a 2-Rax, even a 3-Rax follow-up. I think he's talking about the Dancing Overlord. But I don't think Ragnarok cares, because he's cutting workers here at 18, and he's going to be making nothing but roaches and lings to reinforce. Ragnarok is going all in, and ByuN has very little to defend. Bunker is on the way. No factory production, no Hellions, no tanks, no Cyclones. Only Marine. Only vanilla Marines at that. Oh boy. Here we go. As we do have, Ragnarok just setting up for his assault, moving out his lings. Again, the wall is on the low ground, so ideally the Ravagers bust through this bunker and the lings can just flood on in. There we go. We're going to have 3 Ravagers in total. Just waiting for the gas to morph in that final Ravager. There it is. It is on the way. And ByuN has no idea. ByuN didn't SCV scout, he didn't Reaper scout. ByuN is completely 100% in the dark. And he is going to be punished for it. He should be punished for it. As Ragnarok, he pushes on forward. Bows down the bunker immediately. The points are being pulled. But we may just have too much DPS. Good target firing on the Ravager. Up. Very good target firing, but the Wows, they're just too much. The Lings, they do flood in. They're getting on top of the Marines. Will get on top of said Marines, but so far good control here with these SCVs. They take down one of the Ravagers, but we have taken control of the low ground. But it's not over, not yet. Stim is almost done, actually. Stim is on the way. If we can survive long enough, then ByuN could try to vibe control of the natural. Behind this, Ragnarok is droning. He's attempting to transition. Yeah, ByuN, he has to just give up on the low ground. But again, he's got 3 more Raxes behind this. He's going up to 4 Raxes. Stim is now done. Combat shields as well. And what's scary is that ByuN, he isn't just going to be able to regain control of his natural, but he's also going to be able to counterattack as well. And I do worry here for SHIN. As SHIN is going to turn around and go back home. And ByuN is building up that bio army. Now, it's going to be on ByuN whether he wants to push now or push when medevacs arrive. Again, if he does move out, then he will be left vulnerable back at home. So it looks like he's waiting for his wall to be set up before moving. Across the map, he's going to be scanning. He does confirm that additional gases are on the way, that we are droning, that Ragnarok is not completely all in. Wings are ready for a backstab. +1 attack on the way. And I would say that ByuN, he's honestly in a beautiful position here. He's almost double the worker count of his opponents. He's up in tech, up in upgrades. From here, Ragnarok does have to go for a follow-up all-in, and yeah, he stopped droning. He's going for a second all-in, a second wave from our Zerg player. And ByuN is ready for it. He's got soon-to-be 3 bunkers on the low ground. How do we break this? I also love that they're spread out, so Biles won't hit 2 bunkers at the same time. There it is. We confirm the Ravagers. We confirm the army moving out. And ByuN is getting ready for it. Oh. There we go. Biles will be connecting. The army going to be pushing on forward as well. Again, good repairs here from ByuN, keeping this bunker alive. We can see Ragnarok, he's just holding back with those things, waiting to break through before he does pull the trigger. As he just doesn't have enough to kill that one bunker. Not yet. He's got another Ravager on the way. As time goes on, this is getting better and better from ByuN. As he has another bunker behind this. I'm loving the leapfrogging backwards of bunkers. Oof. As another bunker falls, we're down to 2. And we're soon to be down to 1. And this is it. This is SHIN's moment. Looks like he just wants to take down one last bunker before going in. And here we go. The army does stim on forward. The Lings, they come in to support. The boys are being pulled, but we have so many Marines, so much bio here. The Biles! The Biles will connect. Is it going to be enough? It looks like it barely will. ByuN, he will lose so much of his army, but the boys are being pulled. ByuN, he's holding. He's barely holding on. But dear life. Biles will not connect. We focus down the Ravagers one after the other, and that's going to be it. GG gets called. And ByuN will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Oh my god, that was that was brutal. That was yeah, quite intense there out of Ragnarok. Didn't quite have enough to keep on pushing though. Didn't have enough to pull off that second all-in, and the first one as well wasn't able to do enough damage. Did lose too many Ravagers in the process, and a solid defense there from ByuN. And with that, he does take the first game. Does take the first game, and we are going to be getting ready for game number 2. Game número 2. Here we go. Oh. So making our way in. Oh. And game 2 is going to be on Golden Aura. So I'm just catching up on everything that's been going on. Just going to be catching on up. As a reminder, this is still a best of 5. Still a best of 5, still plenty of games ahead of us. Still plenty of games to come. And I'm hoping for more of a back and forth. I'm hoping to even make our way towards an ace match. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of a Golden Aura. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. It is SHIN. I do need to change that alias. I'll get on that, Bobby. I'll get on that. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Well, I'll do that now. How do I remove with aliases? Add alias player name SHIN. Alias ByuN. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, next game it should be correct. Once again, we're going for a bit of a quirky opener. We are going for a pool first. So, as a reminder, in game number 1, SHIN did open up gas first, which is what led into the Roach Rush, into the eventual all-in. This time is going for a pool first instead. Back at home, ByuN this time going for a 2-Rax opener. This is going to be for additional Reapers to try to contain the opponent, to try to delay the third base for as long as possible, and keep SHIN on 2 bases as best he can. Now with this pool first, we can squeeze out a couple of extra Lings early on, but honestly they can't do anything. These Lings ideally would delay the CC on the low ground, but because of the wall, because of these 2 Raxes, this pool first shouldn't do anything. And there it is, 6 Lings are on the way. They can maybe force one of the Reapers back home, but the wall should be solid, and we can even pull a couple of SCVs to repair as well. So this does feel a little bit unfortunate for SHIN. As he is going for a faster third, though. That is the upside. He's going gasless. He does not take a gas, which means he can take a faster third, which means he may be able to get away with it against this Reaper build. We'll see. We'll see how hard ByuN commits. Typically, you would only make 3 Reapers with this, but if you do get eyes on a faster hatchery, you can make up to 5 Reapers to make sure we force a cancel. And because there's no Ling speed, I think we can force that cancel. Lings, they do back off, they take control of the Zanaga. The Overlord does confirm the opener, so SHIN doesn't want to waste his Lings. Reaper dips in, but hasn't checked the linear third base, not yet. As ByuN is more concerned with finding any kind of drone damage, he is going for the drones. Will force out a Spore. And ByuN is not going to be making additional Reapers. Does get 1 drone in the end. Oh, he wants another. He will get it. 2 drones will go down. ByuN, he is going to rotate around. He will confirm the timing of this third base. The Lings are now going in. The goal here is going to be to maybe get a kill on this Tech Lab. They go straight for it. Tech Lab is under threat. Taking a lot of hits, and this is going to be a big delay here for ByuN. Can he save it? Up! Oh my god, he barely does save his Tech Lab. We should be pulling some SCVs here to repair. And the Tech Lab will be saved. Behind this, we have a 3rd Rax. A 4th Rax is going to be a 4 Rax follow-up on Golden Aura. This makes plenty of sense because of the rush distance. And here we go. As the Tech Lab does stand strong. Behind this, 2 more gases are being taken. Roach Warren on the way. But this is going to hit hard. So essentially, the way that this works is that ByuN is going to be building up a Marine force, a Marine army, and he's going to be pushing out with Stim, without medevacs, without any factory support. And with a 4-Rax, we are going to be looking to get economic damage, break through, and cripple the economy of Ragnarok. Already Ragnarok, he gets supply blocked. Not a good start. Now, if Roach Warren to defend is... It is a solid defense, don't get me wrong. Roaches are great early game here to hold on against these kind of pushes. But because of the supply block, Ragnarok, and because of his lack of gas as well, he's not going to have that much to defend. Here we go. ByuN already going to be moving out, catching another Overlord as well. Stim still on the way. I don't think ByuN wants to push onto creep, not with this army. Not without Stim, but he is posturing. He's puffing up his chest. He's forcing an overreaction. Roaches are in position. Queens as well. And Ragnarok... Oh, sorry. SHIN should have enough. And yeah, we have a 3rd CC being thrown down. We have our transition. ByuN isn't committing. He's going to back off. He's going to waddle away. As we do now have Stim, which means we have the opportunity to dive on this army. But against all these roaches off of creep, we can take a fight. On creep, a little bit less so. If he sees like a stray queen here or there, he can go for it. He can go for a scan as well to clean up all this creep. Oh my god, as we are being very adventurous. And yeah, ByuN, he's gonna get the hell out of here. I don't think he had realized how many roaches were made, but that was a wild move out of ByuN. Going very far into creep, and he has to back off from that point. There we go. Now Ragnarok, he can take a fourth. Working on 1-1, or at least +1 carapace, droning, and getting into the mid game. Now, a couple of things are really important here. One is that ByuN didn't lose anything. If you look at the resources lost, ByuN has lost one Marine and one Reaper. So ByuN, from this point, he actually has a pretty terrifying army, and he's going to wait until he gets his upgrades. We have 1-1 on the way with these eBays, and we're soon about to have medevacs as well. So a very mature decision out of ByuN. I feel like a lesser player would have just committed anyway. They're like, oh, I have Stim. Let's just go. Let's just trade. But ByuN, he's thinking further ahead, and his army's just getting higher and higher quality here, especially with all these upgrades. And sure, he may not have dealt any damage. He did inadvertent damage. Again, he forced all these roaches to be made, and the roaches aren't doing anything. He delayed the 4th base. He delayed upgrades as well. Because of his threats, Ragnarok had to respect it, and yeah, he didn't really get away with too much. Now we have link speed on the way. I'm loving this early infestation pits. I want to see some infestors. The infestor was changed in the recent patch, and now when an infestor is made, it does have enough for a fungal, and there it is. We have 1 infestor on the way. I would like it to maybe 2 or 3, but regardless, infestor adds so much here. It does give SHIN a bit of safety, because he is going to have a fungal available in case ByuN pushes out, in case ByuN tries to dive on these roaches. Here we go. We have a double drop moving out. ByuN keeping the rest of his army back at home. This double drop is going to be hitting with 1-1. So 1-1 combat shields and marines. There we go. 2 more infestors are on the way, so 3 in total. And we catch some queens. Oh, we also catch a fungal to the face as well. 1 marine goes down. 1 marine for 1 queen. A good trade for ByuN. Didn't get as much as he wanted, but an efficient trade nonetheless. As he backs off, he's going to be regenerating his HP. Getting it topped up. As we now have a secondary army moving out. So he's going to be able to threaten the right-hand side as well as this 4th base at the same time. But we do have 2 infestors, each with 1 fungal available. Now the fungal does less damage nowadays. But it still does lock down the army. And there it is! Decent fungal, but where's the follow-up? There is none. Bit of a wasted fungal there from SHIN. He does force back the army though. On the right hand side, we do deny a lot of creep. We're keeping the vision of SHIN at bay. As we do have a couple of tumors that are moving out towards the center of the map. Gold base is being taken. That's another feature of Golden Aura. We do have the golds. We do have the gold to take. Army has been spotted. We're still on Ling Roach Ravager. We have a Baling S done. Baling speed is on the way. As ByuN comes back in here, cleaning up so many of these tumors. And the main armies, they do clash. The Biles, they connect. They take down one of the tanks. We did take a fungal to the face, but ByuN doesn't care. He dives on top of the army, on top of the Ravagers. And, oh, that was a big loss, a big blow to Ragnarok. I did miss the start of that fight. I apologize. We get another fungal. The Biles. Oof. It will connect. Getting some good trades here from SHIN. Baling speed is still on the way, though. The fungals have been good. And so far, this gold base is unscouted. Has not been spotted by ByuN. There is another fungal, another 2 fungals available. Up. First one does miss. But we come in from behind. We get on top of the tanks. The tanks are going down, and Ragnarok, he is bleeding out a lot of units, actually. But he cleans up this army. He does force it back. Now, a couple of things to bear in mind. Ragnarok, he may be up in supply, but that is inflated supply. Roach Ravager is not supply efficient at all. So, in reality, I would say that ByuN still has the stronger army. ByuN still has the higher quality army at that. Festers, they do shark around. Hive is done. Ultras are on the way. The gold base does get up. We are going to be looking to saturate it. As I say that, we do have a triple drop moving in. ByuN will finally get eyes on the creep, which will confirm the hatchery that is now taken. He's going to be looking to punish it. He goes in. Sims on forward, and so many drones are being targeted down. Oh my, 7 drones. Really nice moves there out of ByuN. At the same time, he's pushing through the right-hand side. Hitting up a lot of that creep. He's going to be catching some of these overlords as well. Oof. Doesn't quite get them. Good parabomb on the Metamax. On the left-hand side. Not the best trade here for this Roach Ravager, but is going to be enough to overwhelm. ByuN is being forced back. Not losing any of his tanks, but he's also not gaining too much ground, as he still does get 8 workers. Oh, these infestors. They're brave. We've got infestors all over the place looking for fungals. Ragnarok has maxed out. He's got Vipers. He's coming in. Show us those fungals. Lightning clouds are thrown down on both of the tanks. Fungals are looking good as well, and Ragnarok, he should just collapse on this army and clean it all up. Not the best use of the Banelings. Well, they are being targeted down, but it looks like we barely have enough on the ground. And ByuN will lose his entire army. Okay, that was just a really awkward fight to take, and really good use of the spellcasters from our Zerg player. He does hold on to his gold. Problem is that, again, this Liberator. Putting in some work. The problem here is that Ragnarok is still stuck on 5 bases, as opposed to the 4 of ByuN. ByuN able to keep up with the economy. He's pushing towards that gold. There's no creep here. Without creep, these fights have been awkward, but the Ultras are on the way. Do we have Kindness Plating? We do. We do have Kindness Plating. We do have Ultra Speed in production as well. Ultras are out, more infestors are on the way. Now, if Ragnarok takes another decisive fight, with these Ultras, he can counterattack. He can start pushing across the map and break into some of the bases of the Terran. Now, as the Ultras arrive, ByuN, he backs off for a moment. We have a Ghost on the way. He's taking a more defensive position, turrets, tanks, center towers. He is attempting to take a 5th. You see Ragnarok in position. He's going for it. With Blinding Clouds. Only on one of those tanks as Ragnarok. He is coming in from behind. He's breaking through, getting on top of the tank line. Only one Ultra makes it in. The Ghosts are going ham. Up. And it looks like ByuN, he does fall back to his natural base. Can he barely clean up these Ultras? There's only one left. The last Ultra will fall. ByuN barely holds. That was close. ByuN, he only lost 4 SCVs, so his economy untouched, but he did lose all of his tanks. 2 tanks survived. It was a costly trade for ByuN. Thankfully for ByuN, Ragnarok doesn't have the best economy. You can see here that he's like running out of mineral patches. He's attempting to expand and take another base. Now getting operational. Taking his 6th, while ByuN gets his 5th. And oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon because this mineral line is not going to be mining. Workers are going down, and we have very limited anti-air. As the Liberator repositions into the main base. And ByuN just being very annoying here across the map. Behind this, we got 3-3 about to kick in, so ByuN about to be ahead in upgrades. He's rebuilding his Ghost count, his tank count. Ghost, tanks, Liberators. ByuN taking a very entrenched position back at home. as Ragnarok is now taking additional bases. SHIN, sorry. God, I keep saying I keep saying it. SHIN taking additional bases. Here we go. He's going for a run by. Does catch a mineral line. God, 10, 11 workers go down. A tank as well. Strong moment there for SHIN. At the same time, he hits the planetary as well. 22 SCVs go down. And now ByuN is hurting. Now I would say that ByuN is having a hard time keeping up. His economy taking a big blow. And for the first time here, SHIN, he's in a commanding position. He's still behind in upgrades, and that's still something that he's working towards. He still doesn't have the best bank, don't get me wrong, and his crease spread is lacking. Look, there's a lot that can be worked on here. But at least he does deal a blow to the economy of ByuN. ByuN is just re-establishing his bases, retaking his 5th, eventually working towards the 6th base, but that's still a ways off at this point. And yeah, ByuN, he's kind of stuck at home, just stuck remaxing. He just because of the pushes that were cleaned up earlier, like he just can't be active anymore. Ragnarok has map control, and ByuN knows that he can't go for drop play. He's been going for a couple of liberators here and there, but for the most part, he is stuck at home until he maxes. Additional factories. We have near steel frames, high-sec auto tracking. Going for additional scans, trying to figure out what's going on. SHIN still has us out of +3, which is a little bit concerning. Good EMPs on the Vipers. Once again, the Ling Bane just rolls on in. Taking down 9 SCVs. Basically, the goal here is for Ragnarok to push in and to take a bad fight. And if he does, then ByuN can counterattack. Until that occurs, though, ByuN is stuck at home. And this is not the best map for this, is the problem. Like, it's just really awkward to take a 6th base. It's just so far out in the open. There we go. We have Thors on the way. More Ghosts as well. ByuN going into basically kind of mech Ghost. The ideal for the late game. You can see ByuN tries to move out, and he does snipe a couple of Ultras. Even getting an Infestor as well. Good trades here from ByuN. He can threaten the gold. And it looks like SHIN, he does know that. He's going to give up on the gold. And this hatchery will go down. As that occurs, 11 Broodlords are on the way. They are 0/0 Broodlords, so not the best upgrades here on them. 0 upgrades on them, actually. So ByuN can still fight back against this. He is maxed now with Ghosts and Thors. 1 Ghost. He is caught out, though. Mispathing there from ByuN. There we go. The Broodlords have revealed themselves. +3 on the horizon. The snipes are going off. Oh my god, the Ultras. The Vipers. The Vipers do get sniped. Good EMPs on those Infestors as well. That was an efficient trade for ByuN. And as he bleeds out some Marines, he's replacing them with Thors. Once again, good snipes going up here, taking down Broodlord after Broodlord. Expensive losses for SHIN. And again, a big reason for that is the lack of those upgrades, the lack of Infestors to support. We only had 1 Infestor with the army. I'm a little bit shocked. Additional Infestors have now arrived, but we needed those Fungals. That's the only way to really lock down those Ghosts and to stop the snipes. Here we go. After a very efficient trade, now ByuN, he's expanding and he's taking a 6th. He's looking to. Likewise, Ragnarok taking every other base on the map. Broodlord's pushing forward. And the hatchery is going to be going down the middle line as well. No! The middle line, we came in too soon. And a very efficient trade here from ByuN. Detection has arrived. The Ghost will make it out. Nukes on the way, and as we bleed out Marines and Marauders, we're replacing them with more of a mech army, more of a mech composition. Fusion core on the way, additional Ghosts. Now again, this does mean that the army of ByuN is very immobile. That's why I mentioned earlier that the goal here for the most part is for ByuN to absorb an attack and then counterattack instead. Speaking of, we are going to try to break this position, but there's just so much tank defense. Snipe's going to be going off. The Ghosts trying to work their way through. We do go for a nuke. Nuke is on the way. Can we get the nuke off as the Ghost is going to be focused down? Oh no! Oof. 8 drones go down. The Ghost did fall in the end. Did fall, but did land the nuke. Not the biggest of nukes, but a nuke nonetheless. As here we go, Ragnarok going for a big counterattack. Planetary will fall. ByuN out of position. Not able to save the space. But did we lose too many Banelings? We are down to 7 Broodlords. More Thors in production. What's our army based on now? So it's 7 Libs, 7 tanks, 5 Thors, and Ghosts. We have basically traded out all of the Marines and Marauders. There's barely any Marines, barely any Marauders left. It's mainly Mech and Ghosts at this point. And again, like this is the ideal late game army for Terran. Can't get better than that. Other than like battle cruisers, I guess. And I don't think we're gonna work our way there. Not yet. Meanwhile, I've been talking a lot about ByuN's refinement of his army, but we should also pay attention to Ragnarok, as he's been bleeding out a lot. If we look at the resources, sorry, look at the units here, he has 5 Infestors, which is okay. He's got 7 Broodlords. I do think that we could do with more Broodlords and maybe a little bit less Hydras and less Link Bane, but here we go, pushing in. Do get one of those Thors. Link Bane rolls on forward. We're trying to collapse here onto the Ghosts. The Thors, though, they are standing their ground. Good spread here from these Ghosts. The Fungals! The Fungals connect. The Banelings as well. The Ghosts are going down. But at the same time, Ragnarok, he's bleeding out a lot of his army. And even though ByuN, he lost maybe a good portion of his army, he still holds on. He still does stand strong. He's trying to fight back. Will lose the base. Decent EMP, but the Ghost. No, the Ghost does go down. And ByuN, he still has a standing army. We can see Ragnarok, he's bleeding out here. I don't think this is the fight to take. Yeah, this is not it. The Broodlords, they're all gonna get sniped. They will all go down. We should not have stuck around here, but Ragnarok, he's all in. He has no bank remaining. He's trickling in with Hydras, Lings, and Banelings. He connects with a Fungal, but he's run out of steam. GG gets called. And ByuN will take game number 2, taking a 2-0 lead. GG. GG, well played. Again, Ragnarok, it was all or nothing. Sorry, God, I keep saying that. SHIN, it was all or nothing for SHIN. He was all in, and again, like there was just very little mining going on for him. He wasn't able to establish top right. He wasn't able to establish that hatchery. and he just could not trade efficiently, could not rebuild an efficient enough army to really take it slow and steady. GG, well played. Again, so because Ragnarok, he was staying on a very Ling Bane heavy composition, that's an army that had to trade. It's not an army that really gains value over time, like a more robust Infestor Broodlord army would. And very few Broodlords, a lot of Road Traveling Bane, and there was potential with the army, don't get me wrong, there was potential with it, but you do need a good economy behind it. That's the thing. That's what a Ling Bane heavy composition requires, is a good economy, is a bank to work through, to burn through. Something that Ragnarok did not have. And with that, we're getting into potentially the final game of the series. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the South Korean... Oh, I need to change this again. They keep switching. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. Down in the series, looking to fight back here and now. He needs to. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Yo, shout out to Kenny in the chat. Just because I always forget the name of the medevac upgrade. I keep saying like Caldonius reactors. It's Caduceus reactor. Look, I'm just gonna stick with medevac upgrade. I'm gonna stick with that, Bobby. I'm gonna stick with that. As we're getting into game number 3. How does one stop ByuN? Sorry, how do you even trade against late game Terran? As we mentioned before, it depends on the situation. If you are ahead economically, so if you watch, this happens a lot with Serral. If you watch Serral versus Oliveira, I think a really good example is Serral versus Oliveira on Dragon Scales. I think it was in WTL. I think Asher and I casted it. A really good example. Is that if you work towards the late game to begin with, and if you get ahead in bases, ideally, if we're going to the late game, the Zerg player needs to take additional bases. What I mean by that is cutting the map in half is not good enough. Not good enough for the Zerg, because that means that you're behind. That means that the Terran player will be eventually even on bases with you. You need to fight for control of bases from the Terran player. So you need to try to take some of the Terran's bases as well. And on top, to be able to do that, you need really good creep spread. Obviously, you need really good map control. And you can stay on a very flexible, like Ling Bane Hydra based composition. If you want to go for like a longer drawn out game instead, you still do need to fight for control of the Terran bases. But you need to invest into a more, or eventually head towards a more heavy like Broodlord Infestor composition. Vipers do help as well, but in general, just a more efficient army. Less so Ling Bane, and it's a slower way to play. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Like, it's not everyone enjoys it, just because it is very slow, methodical, and I do know that there are Zerg players that do everything they can to not be forced into that kind of play style. Obviously, something that comes into play is Golden Aura. The previous map, because there are so few bases to take, you get starved out a lot easier, right? As opposed to even this map, it's easier to cut in half. But as opposed to like Hecate or Alcyone, for example, where there are so many more bases to take, Golden Aura, less so. So you do get more desperate far quicker on a map like Golden Aura, which we saw, right? We saw that very quickly. We ran out of bases to take. There wasn't really anything else to go towards, and we saw Ragnarok just struggling to take top right and even hold on to bottom left. That was all he had left. Regardless, getting into game number 3, and this time we have a 3 racks. Let's go. So we've seen different variations here today. We've seen ByuN go for a 4 racks, which is more committed. This a little bit less so. This should be going into a 3rd CC. This should be leading into a faster transition. 3 racks is, you do hit a timing with stim and combat shields without medevacs. That is true. But because we are down a racks, this isn't actually too committed. You can push out, you can vie for map control, you can clean up creep and threaten queens. but there's nothing forcing the Terran to push into a mineral line. Like, there isn't too much onus on ByuN to get too much done with this. We will be moving out. Yes, that is true, but again, we can transition a lot more seamlessly out of this. I see imperfect. You need a the correct term. I see imperfect. What, you can't stop ByuN. You can't do it. He's unstoppable, papi. There you go. There you go. As we do have the Marine Force moving out, Ragnarok is going to be respecting this. He has Lings on the way, Queens as well. Lings are moving out for a full surround, and ByuN pushes too far to creep. Oh, a big overextension here, but the stutter stepping from ByuN, he does not get surrounded, by the way. He fights his way through the Lings, and he does break free. That felt illegal. Oh my god. That was crazy. Ragnarok successfully lured ByuN in. He lured him deep onto creep. He was here in between the bases. He went for the surround. And ByuN, something about ByuN's Marines, okay? Look, they don't talk about this too much because, you know, it's not safe for work. But it is known. ByuN, he does lube up his Marines ahead of time. They are just like lathered in baby oil, and you can't hold on to them. Oh my god. He just slipped right on out of that surround. That was crazy. That was almost, that was like, Ragnarok didn't do anything wrong. SHIN didn't do anything wrong there. Like, it was well set up for the surround, but alas, couldn't quite catch them. Now ByuN, he gets away with most of his Marines. He trades out 8 for 21. 21. And now we're working on our follow-up. This is the 2-base all-in. Where is the third CC? Third CC is non-existent. He's getting into 2 more Raxes, so it's going to be 5 racks on 2 bases, into a medevac, into a factory. There is no follow-up. There is no mid-game. This is all that ByuN is working on, and all that he needs. Good surround, but here come the reinforcements once again. ByuN will not lose his marauding force, and we can bust on in, cleaning up all this creep, pushing on forward in between the bases, and this time not just with men with gun, but also with tanks. There are a lot of queens to push this back, but again, ByuN is completely all in. Like, he's not working on that next step. He's not teching, he's not working on another base. It's on Ragnarok to defend. Here we go. The Lings are here to deny a third base, a third that doesn't exist. He could try to threaten a bust into the natural. That is possible. ByuN, does he turn around? Uh-oh. Things are gonna get weird. Ragnarok is gonna threaten a bust towards the natural base, but ByuN does not turn around. He's pushing towards the 4th. But there are only queens. Does he commit? We're committing. Here we go. This hatchery is gonna go down. At the same time, another double drop towards the 3rd base as well. Ragnarok does turn back around. Do come across another 4th base. Oh, 3rd CC is now on the way. This is a very late 3rd base from ByuN. He has not achieved the damage that he was looking for. It took too long. It took too long here for ByuN, and this is getting better and better for Ragnarok. Ragnarok, he has a good economy. He's working on 2-2. Ragnarok is getting further and further ahead. ByuN needs to accomplish something here with his forces. Armory is now on the way. Again, no armory because no 2-2, because he never really intended for that. As Ragnarok once again attempts to surround, but no, the positioning is too good. Ragnarok does not trade well. And this hatchery will fall. Hatchery will fall, but again, Ragnarok is still on 4 bases, technically. He's still on 65 workers. Working on +2, so that's plenty of Ling Bane. Ragnarok is still in this, but ByuN, he's gaining efficiency here. He denies the 5th. does deny a 5th base. But he is going to get cleaned up. A bit of an overextension here from ByuN. Tank goes down, the drop as well. And Ragnarok is about to max out. ByuN is doing everything he can to force Ragnarok back. He's finally taking a 3rd base while Ragnarok is working on a 5th. Can ByuN pull this off? As the Liberators have arrived, drones are going down. ByuN with a purely marine army down here. No anchor points, no widow mines, no tanks. Just pure marine. And he does have to pick up, does have to get out of here. Oh, he's going for the Evo Chamber. He denies +2. A big denial. A pretty important upgrade. +2 is taken out. We have an infestation bit on the way. ByuN comes back. He wants it. He's not going to get it. And ByuN, he's hoping to keep Ragnarok busy. And he is so far. ByuN's third base is so exposed. We can totally go for a run by. But ByuN, he's just being as active as possible. Hitting three places at once even. He has 3 armies active on the map. The medevacs. One medevac is going to be focused down. But 26 drones fell. 26! Just like that, ByuN is in this. ByuN, he cripples the economy of Ragnarok. Suddenly, even though ByuN has been down in bases this entire time, he's catching up. This, the multi-pronged aggression here, it's pulling Ragnarok apart. He's doing it. ByuN is actually pulling this off. Ay, ay, ay. And 26 drones went down. Bases are being denied as well. Looks like we should have enough to break this tank, but oh, the target firing on the Banelings! 3 volleys go off, a bunch of Banelings go down, and ByuN trading so efficiently. He will lose his drop. He is bleeding out his army. The target firing. God. Disgusting. It's crazy. And even though ByuN has been behind this entire time economically, again, he did enough to catch himself back up. He has been amassing a massive army back at home. And he's continuing to go for this drop play. Just sending drop after drop across the map. Ragnarok kind of stabilizing. +2 finally going to kick in. Hive done at this point. Viper's on the way. But ByuN has made a game out of this. He has successfully transitioned out of an all-in. And I was really doubting it. I was really doubting ByuN. That's going to be a kill, not a cancel. 300 minerals down the drain. Queens are in position, though. They do force a drop back. At the same time, we have another double drop here towards the south. Drones are falling. And this is going to be another kill. That is 600 minerals gone in the blink of an eye. 2 dead hatcheries. And ByuN is now, for the first time in a long time, for the first time since almost the start of the game, ByuN is ahead in supply. ByuN is now ahead in supply. 4th base is on the way. He's about to be ahead in economy. Crazy. Like ByuN's 2-base all-in had failed. It had failed. And Ragnarok was holding. Ragnarok was in a decent position. Like 5 minutes ago. Maybe 6 minutes ago. Maybe 8 minutes ago. But alas. ByuN just going Super Saiyan here. Even these abductions, oh my god, they barely take down 1 medevac. It's a lot of energy. We can see Ragnarok double expanding, trying desperately to get a 5th. Trying desperately to establish another base. A little bit of a lapse in attention there. ByuN does lose a drop. But here comes the main army. Here comes the killing move. 3-3 is about to kick in. Because of the denied Evo chamber earlier, there's no 3-3 for the Zerg. It's crazy. Ragnarok, he was ahead at some point in upgrades, and now he's behind. Now we have a massive window. Bailey's they roll in, they get some connections. These are being denied. Decent splits coming in, but it looks like ByuN, he is going to get surrounded. ByuN losing a massive chunk of his army. And Ragnarok, he is holding onto these bases. At the same time, did have another double drop towards the south, but Ragnarok, he also keeps up with that as well. This is still back and forth. This is still anyone's game. Ragnarok, he is slowly recovering. He finally gets a fifth. This fifth base is finally operational, fully operational. Sixth hatchery is now getting up and running. 3-3 on the horizon. Kindness plating on the way. We're getting into ultras. Ragnarok, he's still making a game out of this. ByuN came back. That doesn't mean that he's going to win. It's still neck and neck. But yeah, the comeback is impressive. Here we go. Ragnarok here with his entire army gets off a power bomb. Cannot quite chase off of creep. ByuN looking to deny a hatchery that doesn't exist. As ByuN attempts to take his own fifth base. Creep is being cleaned up. And we do see Ragnarok working towards a spire, working towards potentially a greater spire as well. Before that does occur, he's pushing in. He's going to try and deny this fifth base. Viper goes down. Again, right now this is on a knife's edge. ByuN is trying to defend without ghosts. No, oh my god, he wasn't looking. ByuN, he wasn't looking. He takes massive banelings to the face. He was paying attention elsewhere. And he's going to be cleaned up in both locations. A big blunder for ByuN, and it looks like Ragnarok has done it. One wrong fight is all it takes. And ByuN will lose this planetary. Banelings are rolling in. Ultras as well. Again, it was an impressive comeback. Very impressive comeback this game. But in the end, Ragnarok, he takes an insane fight. The ghosts are too late. And Ragnarok can remax. ByuN cannot, as he lost control of his fifth and his fourth. You could see everything was on a knife's edge. And this transition to Ghost was too late. By the time they've come out, the army is already gone. It's already perished. GG gets called! And we have a series. We have a back and forth. That was crazy. ByuN almost came back, but SHIN will fight back and will put a point on the board. GG, well played. Oh, GG. That was crazy. That was out of this world. Again, ByuN doing such a good job here at coming back in this game, but he did end up falling behind tech-wise. Again, I'm sure he was hoping that he was applying so much pressure that Ragnarok wouldn't have the freedom to actually get into a hive and get into ultras, but alas, he made it in. He made it towards the end. GG, well played. We have a back and forth. We have a game 4. Huh. I was waiting for the moment on stream when when ByuN took some rough fights. But I'm sure he's going to be looking to make up for that here in our next game. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Mystery Gaming, putting a point on the board, making a series out of this. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom left, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. ByuN still one game away here from becoming this week's champion. Ragnarok going for a 15-15, 15 hatch into a 15 spawning pool. Again, a very interesting opener here out of Ragnarok. He is going to attempt to be a little bit greedy here, defend with queens, and delay his gases. Again, Ragnarok has been very fond of this. Very fond of this opener, especially against ByuN. ByuN, though, going for a CC first. Let's go. Let us go. We do have a CC first, so a very greedy economic opener here out of ByuN. Now, on the one hand, it is a 15, like, it is going to be a pool before gas, so we do have access to faster lings, but the reality is that off of a build like this, you don't actually make lings. So, I mean, you don't make lings, you're going to roaches. We're not rushing into roaches either, so ByuN should be fine. He should be able to get away with this. He should be able to get away with this greedy opener. This can sometimes be a little bit fatal if your opponent happens to be going for a gas first or more gas heavy opener, just because you do delay factory production quite a bit, as ByuN is going for a 2 racks behind this. Let's go. As we get into our 2 racks, into our potential 3 or even 4 racks, big shout out to Jadolf in the chat. Oh, the dolphin. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome, welcome. Unfortunately, Jadolf, ByuN doesn't really play mech, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to get out of this. I know Jadolf, he loves his mech. He loves it. It's okay. We'll make up for it. As there's that 3rd racks behind this as well. So again, really greedy stuff. Fun fact, ByuN has 0 units. ByuN, he went for a CC first into racks, into reactor first, before making a single unit that can attack. So again, if Ragnarok happened to have gone for a more aggressive opener, then ByuN would have been in some trouble. But we can see that Ragnarok, he's just chilling here, going into queens, and this should lead into roaches. Because of the delayed gases here, we typically would skip ling speed and go into a faster lair and go into faster roach production, but we'll see. We'll see what Ragnarok does. Even though this should be for a roach opener, it doesn't have to be. As for now, he's just droning. Back at home, it is a 4 racks. So a very aggressive follow-up here from ByuN. And Ragnarok, ooh, going for a 3 minutes lair. My god, that is an insanely fast lair. I thought it was going to be a roach warren first, but it's going to be a lair first instead. I still feel like this still should be for roaches. If we throw down a roach warren in a couple of seconds, we can start roach speed as soon as the lair finishes. We don't have additional queens. We don't have ling speed. There it is. Roach warren is now thrown down. So this is just to rush into roach speed. Now, I'm really curious to see how this shapes up. I'm really curious to see how many roaches how many roaches SHIN has by the time ByuN moves out. Because ByuN is going to be waiting a little bit longer. Stim and combat shields are on the way. Once they kick in, ByuN moves out. And once ByuN moves out, he's going to have a lot of marines. He's going to have a mass amount of marines available, and this defense for SHIN is going to be on a knife's edge. It's going to be a very close defense here from SHIN. See in the chat, say it like you're Italian. It's not an Italian word there, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Este italiano, papi. Here we go. The marines are pushing out. Roaches are on the way. A bit of a supply block. 3 overlords are in production here for Ragnarok, for SHIN. So here we go. ByuN has revealed his hand. And it looks like SHIN will have enough to hold. It's close, but it looks like he does muster up enough roaches, enough queens. Oh my god, he stims in! He's crazy! He's focusing down 1, 2, 3 roaches. Gonna get 4, gonna get 5, gonna get every single roach actually. A bold move by ByuN, but it pays off. He takes down every single unit, but here come the reinforcements, and SHIN will hold. It was a costly trade. It was 12 roaches for 12 marines, so a very efficient trade out of ByuN. Very well done. Trading 1 for 1, marine for roach. And we are just rallying everything else across the map. Once again, a 2-base all in. 2 more Raxes instead of a 3rd CC. Oh wait, no, sorry, there's a 3rd CC. I thought this was a starport. My mistake. We're not all in, papi. Let's go. We do have a 3rd CC behind this, and that wasn't 2 more Raxes, that was a Rax and a starport. So ByuN is working on the next step. This time it won't be as dire of a situation as we saw in the previous game when SHIN was able to take it in the end. So we should be taking our third base momentarily, and we should be working towards a longer game. Ooh, let's go. Speaking of a longer game, SHIN does knock down those rocks, and he's going for the gold. That is a big feature here of this map. We do have the gold bases available here for both our Terran and our Zerg. And we're going to be taking it as the fourth. Now, this is a very exposed base. You can try to lay siege upon it from the low ground. You can drop on the other side and attack from the right-hand side instead. Is quite vulnerable, but we'll see if SHIN can get away with it, as ByuN is pushing out. Behind this push, he is expanding. Now just working on the next step, which is additional Raxes. Armory on the way for 2-2. So Naga will not quite reveal the gold. He's not aware of it yet, but I think he is going to be able to get eyes on it soon. It's going to be close. SHIN is here to stop it. Yeah, the rocks are knocked down. I'm sure he does notice. I hope he does. He's focusing on his push. And it is going to be forced back, but he just stims on in. Biles will not quite connect. We break through the first line of roaches. We're getting some of the Ravagers as well. The killer instinct from ByuN is crazy. And he trades well. He comes across the drones. He comes across the hatchery as well. Shaving off the majority of those roaches. And now ByuN has his next target. That target is going to be this gold. I was wondering, this word is a Greek word. As we're going to be tipping in towards that third. And up. Cheeky Moose here out of SHIN. Not quite able to get that medevac. Back at home, we're just building up our forces. We have a 4th CC on the way, so this isn't even going to be a 3-base all-in. We've taken our gases, taken our 4th. ByuN looking to get even further into this game. Again, much more of a mature response here after losing a game, after being all-in on side Delta. So ByuN just taking it slow. Still being active with his medevac, but he isn't quite able to punish this gold. And now SHIN, his economy is about to snowball out of control. He's on 81 workers with a gold base on top of that as well. SHIN is primed here to max out, to get into 200 supply, to work towards a hive tech. Upgrades are delayed, but they're on the way nonetheless, as we are transitioning out of Roach Ravager and into Lingbane. Again, Roach Ravager openers are merely a stepping stone to get into a more Lingbane heavy composition instead. That's what SHIN is working towards. As he works towards that though, here comes ByuN. There we go, ByuN rotating around. Gonna be cleaning up some creep. He has to respect these infestors. Is looking for any kind of moment where they can land a fungal. As ByuN will back off. And again, like, there's nothing pressuring ByuN to really force the issue here. Remember, he's got a 4th base, now landing on location. He's just chilling. Just chilling. 2-2 on the way. Drilling claws for those mines. As ByuN is being active with these drops and actually has 3 drops active on the map. He's got one on the right-hand side looking to deny this 6th base. Main army pushing through the center, heading towards the gold. We have a drop on the left-hand side as well. Can Ragnarok keep up as he's forced to evacuate the gold base? The hatchery is going to go down. At the same time, we force a cancel on this hatchery on the right. Meanwhile, on the left, SHIN is keeping up. Does force to pick up the Biles. Up. Oh, they do miss. The medevacs do escape, but the damage is being done. 2 hatcheries go down. And now we're working towards the mineral lines. Bailing speed not quite done. And ByuN, he is snowballing out of control. Ooh, as I say that, he does take some bailings to the face. Does take quite a lot of hits, and he does have to back off, does have to race back home. But he even gets eyes on the would-be Greater Spire. Immediately, Ghost Academy. Much better timing this time from ByuN. Ghost Academy is on the way as soon as he saw that Spire. And he has been able to remax, rebuild. He's pushing out with another army. And SHIN is hurting. SHIN, he lost a lot of workers. He lost a lot of bases. He's down to 4 hatcheries. Essentially no creep. The creep is connecting the bases. That is it. Fungals don't quite connect. Infestor goes down. SHIN, he's being pulled apart left and right. Can he hold the Fungals? They've been lackluster. The spread is too good. We cannot engage. Not off of creep. And again, there's just no creep on the map whatsoever. And SHIN is he's just suffocating here. He's just being bullied back further and further towards his bases. He's trying to break free. Gets on top of the tanks. Takes down all 3 of them. At the same time, though, we have another double drop on the right-hand side. Getting to a mineral line. Killing workers. The Vipers go down. And ByuN has done it. He has broken through. He had slow and steady. You know, taking a 3rd, taking a 4th base. Building up from there. And relying on his multitasking. And he did just get out of control. GG gets called, and ByuN is going to be this week's ESL Open Cup Asia number 198 champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, a solid performance there out of ByuN. I was concerned when I saw that SHIN had taken his gold. Remember, there was a moment there where SHIN had the gold base, he had a 6th base on the way, he had his hive done, Vipers were coming out, he was behind in upgrades, but he was catching up. But something that he was lacking in is creep spread. And because he lacked in creep spread, he lacked in map vision and map awareness, and ByuN did successfully pull him apart. With again, he had like 3 different attacks coming at once. He had drops on either side and the main push through the center towards the gold. And in one fell swoop, SHIN just could not keep up with what ByuN was dishing out. Potentially he had the army to defend. He just wasn't able to split up his army effectively enough in time, or efficiently enough even, to keep up with everything that was going on. And yeah, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Congratulations to our champion here, to ByuN, for taking down SHIN and becoming our champion. GG, well played. And with that, we are going to be heading off. Just gonna make sure that we can message the correct people and let them know the outcome of this series, as we are not done for the night. We are halfway done, papi. As we wrap up ESL Asia, we have another event going on. We have the Korea versus the World event, the Sao Shuai Cup, if you will. And I believe, if you remember, that is why Dark had to forfeit. Did have to forfeit earlier in the semi-finals against SHIN. And Dark did actually play out a series against Oliveira, and now he is mid-series. He is mid-series against Clem. Let us go. Can we join? Can we pull this off? Are we joining, papi? We are setting up here for our next series. We're going to be going on a short break. Again, congratulations to ByuN. If you enjoyed the tournament, ESL Open Cup Asia is a regular thing. It is a weekly tournament that we do host here on this channel whenever we can, or every single week. If we ever don't cast it, it's for a reason. Either we're sick, or maybe there's another event going on. But we are getting ready for our next tournament broadcast. Going to take this moment to go on a break. When we return, we will have Dark versus Clem. See you soon.